to Bowl Game Radio with Bruce Binkowski and Mark Neville on San Diego's sports leader, the mighty 1090.
Welcome back, everybody. We're live here at Humphrey's Concerts by the Bay. I'm Mark Neville. You're listening to Bowl Game Radio. And Bowl Game Radio is brought to you in part by San Diego County Credit Union. It's not big bank banking, it's better. And MJE Marketing, creative, connected, and always curious. Visit mjemarketing.com.
And I'm Bruce Binkowski. We're here at the Humphrey's Concerts by the Bay because we are here for the Moody Blues concert, which starts in less than an hour. As we talked about the last half hour, I'm a huge Moody Blues fan, excited to be here, and that's why we're doing the remote, because rather than come late to the concert, I'm able to just finish the show at 7 o'clock and walk in through the main entrance, and we're there to watch the Moody Blues.
I got to tell you, it is so funny. I've not ever been with you at a Moody Blues concert, and I now see how excited you are.
It is going to be a lot of fun. Now, we do have a guest joining us right now. He is the commissioner of the Mid-American Conference, Dr. John Steinbrecher. John, how are you, sir?
Guys, I'm doing super. I hope you are as well.
We are. We're here for the Moody Blues concert, so we're expecting a possibility of a phone call coming in. And take no offense, but if a call does come in, we may have to, just in case we get this special. Right now, we're going to talk college football. I'm Bruce Binkowski, and with me is Mark Neville.
And Commissioner, you have to be pretty excited right now. Your conference, you have Northern Illinois and the BCS Top 25 poised to get a BCS invitation. You got two that are getting votes from the USA Today, Ball State and Northern Illinois. You got to be pretty excited about this stuff.
You know what? We're having a nice year. Long way to go, but we've got some teams positioned very well, and you're exactly right. We got Northern Illinois sitting there at 8-0. 18 in the BCS, Ball State just outside the top 25 polls, sitting there at 8-1. We've got a couple other teams at 6-2. We've got a couple more teams at 5-3. So we could literally have 6 teams bowl eligible by the time this weekend is out. And the really interesting thing is our whole conference race will play out on national TV over the next month on ESPN. So action is going to be coming to everybody here soon.
Oh, there is one game that's on the calendar, November 13th. You got Ball State and Northern Illinois. NIU's been getting all the press, but Ball State seems to be quietly making their way through their conference schedule. That's going to be quite a game on November 13th.
You know, it really will be, and you always talk about shoulda, woulda, coulda. Ball State ought to be undefeated. They tossed away a 17-point lead in the second half of the game earlier this season when they literally had a raft of injuries. They had 8 defensive players on the bench in the second half because of injuries, but they're both very explosive offensively, and that game will go a long way to determining the Western Division in our league.
We're talking with Dr. John Steinbrecher, who is the commissioner of the Mid-American Conference. And, John, people may be saying, all right, why are Bruce Binkowski and Mark Neville on Bowl Game Radio in San Diego, California, on the mighty 1090, talking to the commissioner of the Mid-American Conference? Well, the reason is because if Army is not bowl eligible, we're going to have a representative from the Mid-American Conference play in the San Diego County Credit Union Poinsettia Bowl. So the question we have for you is, what does it mean for a team from the Mid-American Conference to be able to have a chance to come to San Diego, California to play a team from the Mountain West Conference?
I can tell you what, our people are just kind of licking their chops at the opportunity to get a chance to participate out in San Diego if it comes to be, to come out to California. You're in a state where you want to recruit student athletes, you want to recruit students. We have lots of alumni. It's a bowl that has a marvelous reputation for how it's run and the facility it's in and the community it's in. It's everything that we want to be a part of. And then it's a chance to match up against the Mountain West. We do so against them in the famous Idaho Potato Bowl, but that's a league that we don't see a lot of during the regular season. So it's really fun to get together with them in the postseason, and I think our history has shown we have some really fun games.
And John, I know you're a big proponent of the bowl games, and the most important asset in college football, as far as I'm concerned, is the student athlete, and the student athlete experience that they receive when they go to a bowl game. Can you tell us a little bit about that and the importance of the bowl game system to the student athletes themselves?
Well, you know what? We've got these kids who are quite literally working year round. I mean, it's not just a 3-month season. They're working from when they come on campus, really before they start their freshman season, probably in the summer, year round. And for them to have a chance to come out to a bowl game in whatever community it is in, inevitably that community really reaches out and then provides some really neat entertainment and cultural opportunities for many kids. It very likely, if we have a team out there, we'll have kids that probably for the majority of them will never have been in San Diego before. They've only seen it on TV. And for them to come out and get to interact with the people and the culture and learn about that community, and then for that community to learn about our kids and about our member institutions, it's really a marvelous thing. So I really commend the Bowls for what they do. They really put a great deal of attention on the student athletes, whether it's the activities, the dinners. Everything really revolves around making a special week for those kids.
Now, Commissioner, I know you're calling from 3 hours away, so it's late for you, but you've got to understand why you're talking to us. We are at Humphrey's Concerts by the Bay, and if you do come out to San Diego in December, you'll be able to stop by this beautiful hotel and, of course, beautiful San Diego. I know your bio, so I know how old you are, and you're a little younger than I am, but we're here for the Moody Blues concert. I just want to find out from you, are you a Moody Blues fan?
Does that mean like Knights in White Satin?
Yes, sir, it does. Yes, it does. So you are a Moody Blues fan.
There
All right,
you go.
Thank you very much. As a matter of fact, Commissioner, I'm going to put you on hold for just a minute because we are very fortunate right now to be joined by guitarist, singer, songwriter of the Moody Blues, Mr. Justin Hayward. Justin, this is Bruce Binkowski. Thank you so much for joining us tonight right before your concert.
Oh, hi, Bruce. Yeah, no, it's a pleasure. Always nice to be here, we always enjoy it.
Well, this is great. And I really...
Can I just say, and Justin, this is Mark Neville. I got to tell you, Bruce Binkowski has got to be the biggest Moody Blues fan on the planet. He is giddy that he gets to talk with you right now.
That makes two, then. There's another one around somewhere.
Well, thank you. Well, what's interesting is this show was supposed to be in studio, but when we found out the concert was the same night of our show, the radio station allowed us to come out here, the Mighty 1090, to do this show live. And we're right in front of the venue right now, right out in the parking lot.
Oh.
So as soon as the show is over, I'm able to run in and watch the concert. So again,
excellent. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, that was really nice. Hey, Justin, let me ask you. Mark Neville has a question for you, but before I get to Mark's question, because it's about spending a lot of time with people, you've been doing this for over 40 years. You've traveled the world singing your music. And does it ever get old and tiring to get out and just perform night after night after night? Because that's a tough job.
I when I'm about 4 or 5 weeks into a tour, I think yes, and then I'm home for a couple of weeks, and then I think sounds like a great idea, So it's a kind of drug, and it's a real turn on, and the music seems to be fresh for a lot of people every night, and there's nothing else like what you get back from an audience, and it's such a pleasure to do those songs and to be part of that feeling every night. And so that's something I wouldn't really want to give up. So I think the three of us now are the three guys, myself and Graham and John, are the three guys who really like being on the road and have always enjoyed it. And so I think that's what keeps us going. We don't have any kind of celebrity problems. Nobody's going to jump on us in the mall or anything like that, but people know and love the music.
Bruce would, Justin. I think Bruce would jump on you.
Hey, you're listening to Bowl Game Radio, and we've been so fortunate to have Justin Hayward of the Moody Blues call in and talk to us right before the concert here, and also Dr. John Steinbrecher, the commissioner of the Mid-American Conference, to step aside to allow Justin to speak to us. Justin,
thank you, John. That's very
everybody.
kind.
everybody knows you with the Moody Blues, but you are also a solo artist, and you've just released a new solo album, Spirits of the Western Sky. Can you talk about that briefly?
Yes, I suppose in the last few years I've been collecting a lot of songs, and I think that's what I came to the group as when I was 19 years old as a songwriter, and the more I could see that there probably wasn't going to be, a full-scale Moody's album on the horizon, but I was working so much on different Moody's projects, remastering and things like that my engineer and I one day in the studio, we just said, let's just pull this stuff together seriously and make do these songs properly, move them from demo form into real songs, and then really I dedicated a couple of years to it, and I think it's one of the most satisfying projects I've done. It's from the heart, Mark and Bruce. So this is, Spirits is a reflection of my life and the people that I love and know and that are around me, and so it's where I am right now, and I'm very, very pleased with it, very proud of it.
And you can order it on Amazon.com. Of course, you can go to the Moody Blues website, I would assume. Can you go to Justin Hayward's website?
Mine or Moody Blues or, mine and Amazon, as you said, iTunes and Spirits of the Western Sky, yes. I was brought up in a house with my brother, my late brother, who we were very close in age, and we shared this room at the back of the house where we could see this view of the western sky, and we would just think of our heroes, Buddy and the Everleys and Elvis out in that western sky, and I was the one of the two of us that made it here, so that's nice. There's some bluegrass on it as well, so there's something for everybody, I hope.
I do want to ask you about that. Is it unusual that the Moody Blues would have not one but two bluegrass albums? I don't think many people know that.
No, the first one was made as a tribute album to us by some bluegrass boys. I'd met them quite a long time ago when I'd done sort of songwriter showcase things in Nashville. And then it sort of became a serious project that had nothing to do with me. But the second time that they made it, they had some great people on it, and it's a very particular kind of community, the bluegrass community. There's certain musical rules, no electric guitar, no electric bass, no drums. So you got to be able to kind of play it in your parlor, and that's what I loved about it. So I went to Nashville and did 3 songs on my new album with that group of guys, and it was just a joy. But boys and girls, the girl singers, and recorded as they were, as it happened. No fiddling around with different sort of cutting and pasting or anything. It was a real pleasure.
We're talking with Justin Hayward of the Moody Blues, and I got to ask you, Justin, I wonder this a lot. Bruce and I have been working together for about 23 years now, and he drives me crazy sometimes, and I know I drive him crazy as well. You've been with your band now for decades. Do you guys all still get along?
No, God forbid, no.
Yeah. Nice.
No, I've only got separate bedrooms just lately, I've hard to that for years.
Okay, good. So it's not just Mark and myself; it's you guys too.
God forbid. No.
Oh, good. Justin Hayward, thank you so much for joining us tonight. It's a real honor for me, as you know, my brother, and I'm a big fan. So I really appreciate you taking the time. And this is one of the highlights of my career, talking to Justin Hayward.
Oh, you're very kind, Bruce. But Bruce and Mark, thank you so much. And we're looking forward to a great gig tonight. I'm going to go and start fiddling on my guitars and tuning up and doing stuff around them. So lots of love to everybody, and I'm sure we'll have a great night.
Great, thank you. Looking
so
forward
Justin.
to the concert, Justin.
Cheers.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Now, Dr. Steinbrecher, are you still there?
Tough act to follow.
John, I'm so sorry, but
yeah, I can say, John, Bruce was very excited to talk with Justin Hayward. He truly, I think he's more excited to talk with you again, though.
John, I know you're the commissioner of the Mid-American Conference, but when Justin Hayward called in, you took a quick back seat, and I apologize for that. But
no explanation needed.
It was a big moment for us. Anyway, we're talking now back to Dr. John Steinbrecher, commissioner of the Mid-American Conference.
Do you have any idea where you were before we went to
I
Justin
totally
Hayward?
forget. I'm when you're a big fan, it happens. But we were talking about the MAC and San Diego, and we may have I'll just tease and say we'll have an announcement next week that will be good for the Poinsettia Bowl and the Mid-American Conference, but that'll be for next week. But Dr. Mark Neville has another question for you.
And John, I know that you were very involved in the creation of the new college football playoff that starts in 2014. One thing I would like to get your opinion on is how is that going to impact the bowl system as it is now?
I think at the end of the day it will be an enhancement of the bowl system, in part because first and foremost we've embedded the semifinals within the bowls. Because of the way we set it up as only a 4-team playoff, I think what we saw with the BCS is it made football across the country relevant. It's made Mid-American Conference games relevant nationally. It's made Mountain West Conference games relevant nationally. We all kind of, depending on how we succeed or fail, it has an effect on other leagues and other conferences and other teams. And so you end up paying attention to games across the country. And so I think it will only lift up all of the bowls and all the teams that participate in them.
That was always one thing I was concerned about, and with NCAA basketball, and the tournament's great, and I was mentioning this earlier in the show, that I want to make sure that the regular season of college football is not compromised, because if you look at NCAA basketball, every game doesn't have the meaning that every college football game does.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head, and I think from one point you sit there and go, boy, wouldn't an 8-game or a 16-game playoff be just really neat? And yeah, in some ways it would, but it would completely devalue the regular season. And we've seen what's occurred in college basketball. For the top 7 or 8 leagues, the regular season has very little meaning. In fact, their conference tournaments have very little meaning. And so you really don't lock. It used to be, back when I was growing up, and I grew up in Indiana and North Carolina, if Indiana and Purdue was playing, or North Carolina and North Carolina State were playing, man, you got up for those games. You thought all week about them. Now those come and go, and you barely know about it. In football, every game is relevant, and it's because we have not devalued our regular season.
And, I also think even if it did ever go to a 8 or 16-team playoff, you're still going to have controversy. That's not going to go away.
Well, that's if people think the noise will be any less because we've gone to a 4-team playoff as opposed to just picking 2 teams, they're wrong. There will be as much noise, in fact, more noise, because teams 5 and 6 will be complaining about not being in, and teams 3 and 4 will be complaining about being seated higher.
Oh, absolutely. Hey, Dr. John Steinbrecher of the Mid-American Conference, thank you for joining us. Thank you for putting
your
up
patience.
For your patience. Thank you for putting up with me, the Moody Blues fan, and I'll bet you've never been interrupted on any radio interview by a rock star and then come back to finish your interview.
It was quite the privilege, so thanks for having me on.
All right, and we'll be talking to you again. John, I'm sure you and I will be talking real soon.
I look forward to it.
All right, take care. Thank you so much.
You've been listening to Bowl Game Radio on the San Diego Bowl Game Media Network and the Mighty 1090.